Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Yana Johnson, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Linda Leese. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony around Australia. This evening, wreaths will be laid by visitors at the base of the Pool of Reflection. Please stand and join in singing the national anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which he remained true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths of floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Frederick William Anderson. Private Fred Anderson was born on the 25th of April 1894 to Charles and Mary Ann Anderson. His parents were early settlers of the northeast coast of Tasmania, and Fred grew up in the town of Lotta. He attended the local state school and went on to become a miner. His father was interested in horse racing, and his eldest brother Charlie was a well-known jockey. When Fred was 16 years old, Charlie went on a trip to Hobart and died unexpectedly. 3 years later, his next eldest brother, John, who had been ill for some time, died in hospital in Launceston at the age of 32. Fred Anderson enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in August 1915. His training was interrupted by illness, and he did not leave Australia until the 13th of December 1915. Private Anderson first went to Egypt, where he again spent time in hospital, this time with the flu, before continuing training with the 12th Battalion. In April, he arrived in France with his battalion to fight on the Western Front. The 12th Battalion's first major operation on the Western Front came on the 23rd of July 1916, when they participated in an operation to capture the French village of Pozières. The battalion was able to secure part of the objective, but came under extremely heavy German artillery and machine gun fire. Over the next 2 days, the 12th Battalion sustained 375 casualties. Private Fred Anderson was killed on the first day of the operation. His body was not recovered in the confusion of battle. Today, he is commemorated on the Australian National Memorial to the Missing at Villers-Bretonneux. Fred Anderson was 22 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among more than 60,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Frederick William Anderson, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they'll be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. Thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and good evening.